Okay, so we're zooming in on one specific group today, Group 138, and the mix is interesting.
Very. You had the Human League's Dare, Iron Maiden's live album, a real dead one, and then both Guns N' Roses albums, Use Your Illusion 1 and Use Your Illusion 2.
Right, so the two GNR albums, that's, what, 2.5 hours of music just from them?
Easily, yeah. So the mission for us today is to kind of unpack how this specific group ended up ranked the way it did.
Let's start with the top, the GNR head-to-head. Use Your Illusion 1 took first place, Use Your Illusion 2 took second.
Which is fascinating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because considering the sheer length of those two albums combined, the source notes the overall quality was actually pretty high across both.
So UII won the winner. What made it stand out for the reviewer?
Well, it kicks off strong with Right Next Door to Hell, which apparently had that kind of appetite feel, you know.
Ah, that raw energy.
Exactly. Plus, strong rockers like Back Off Bitch, but then also these huge epic tracks like Coma, and of course the big one, November Rain.
November Rain, yeah.
It's hard to argue with that one.
Definitely a defining track. But UII 2 wasn't far behind at all. It starts with Civil War, another massive song.
Right.
And it's got great stuff like 14 Years, Pretty Tied Up, and Estranged, which was called Excellent.
Okay, so both albums are packed, both generally high quality. Why did UII just nudge ahead?
It seemingly came down to one track. The feeling was that Locomotive on UII 2 was the weakest link across both double albums.
Just one song? Apparently, yeah. In this kind of intense comparison, listening back to back, that one slightly weaker moment was enough to put UII 1 in first and UII 2 in second. A really fine margin.
That really speaks to the granularity of this album quest idea. Okay, so GNR locked up the top two spots. What about third place?
That went to Iron Maiden's, a real dead one.
Now, this is where I kind of wonder about the process. A live album full of older hits?
Yeah, like Troopers, Number the Beast, Running Free, classic Maiden standards.
How does that fairly compete against, these massive original studio statements from GNR? Does that make sense?
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
But the rules are the rules for this quest, right?
Yeah.
Everything competes on its own terms. The thinking seems to be that a real dead one is just a really solid, energetic live record.
Okay.
It delivers the goods, basically.
Yeah.
Consistent, does what it says on the tin. Good enough for a respectable third place in this tough group.
Fair enough. Which brings us to fourth place, dead last. The Human League's Dare. And the write-up sounds pretty brutal.
Oh, it was. Very harsh. The main criticism was the sound. The reviewer felt the heavy use of quite simple synth tracks just dated it really badly.
Not badly.
He actually compared it to the soundtrack of an old 8-bit computer game, like Manic Miner or Jet Set Willy.
Ouch. That's not usually a compliment for a major album.
Not really, no. It suggests a lack of sonic sophistication compared to the others, especially the GNR albums.
But even with that stinging critique, there was one saving grace mentioned, wasn't there?
Absolutely. The reviewer admitted the album would have been completely, quote, slated if it wasn't for one song.
Let me guess.
Don't You Want Me? Yeah. Its monumental greatness, as he put it, was the only thing keeping Dare from total dismissal.
So let's tie this together then. The final ranking, UII 1, UII 2, a real dead one, Dare.
Mm-hmm. And what does it tell us about this specific quest?
Well, it seems to highlight a tension between overall consistency and the power of individual moments. GNR won because they delivered high quality across like 2.5 hours.
Right, the consistency carried them. Whereas the Human League, despite having this one absolutely massive, iconic track,
couldn't overcome the perceived weaknesses of the rest of the album's sound, at least not in this direct comparison.
Exactly. The overall package wasn't strong enough to compete in this particular group, according to this one listener's quest.
So it leaves a question for you, listening right now. Thinking about this album quest approach, how much weight should a single monumental track like Don't You Want Me carry? Can one truly massive hit make up for perceived flaws elsewhere on an album when you stack it up against something consistently strong, even if maybe less peaky? Or does the whole album need to hold up to that high standard? Something to think about.